Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So just remember, I don't like JUBILEE. I hate them. And I'm going to talk crap about it to start with. But what I will say is we're doing another chapter of this. I do not know, you guys. Okay, this is already a minefield. So I'm only going to do only one prompt per video that I do of this. But today I was feeling especially bitchified, especially like just I was ready. I have to be in a certain mind state to take on these clowns is basically how I feel. So let's get into it. Let's go. Let's see how long it takes for me to get mega pissed. Okay, I should thumbs it down. We're thumbing it down. Okay.
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men.
So I will go ahead and step forward. I'm not going to blatantly lie. Okay? This is subjective, though. I don't like the term from JUBILEE because it's super, super subjective. Attraction to certain people that are especially in the fetishy. I guess I can just say it because this isn't monetized because JUBILEE sucks. People in the fetishy community, they, fat fetishists, they will say, no, fat men are more attractive. But your average person will say, no, jacked men are more attractive. Now, some might be like, oh, I don't like that much muscle, or I don't like this, or I like skinny guys, or I like that. I get it. But if we're talking relatively objectively within a subjective context, yes, jacked men are more attractive than fat men. Yes, obviously. Let's step out of clown world and just be honest. But let's go ahead and continue. I know this isn't going to go well. I already know.
Will the agreeers please step forward?
Okay.
How come there's 4 guys over there? All right, we're living in a bizarro world where people don't see the truth. Like,
I think it's cope. And I think it's also like for some of the men on the other side, there's probably a bit of like, I have to stand up for the fat people or whatever, I have to be Captain Save a Fat Hoe, basically. So there is a lot of politics in regard to fatness these days. So if people say blatant facts, which I honestly don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, you guys. I know that it's somewhat subjective, but really, come on, I will just say that we have to, I don't know. It's just extra. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I feel like all I'm trying to say is that I think they are not coming forward due to cope and due to political activism. That's why. That's what I think.
how is it possible that they're thinking, no, being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy? How is this possible?
I agree.
Actually, you know what? This is precisely why a majority of women find a majority of men as unattractive. Because a lot of guys think this way, oh, I just be a nice guy and girls are gonna like me. No, they're not.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, what a landmine. I don't know what is with him. I always forget his name. You guys have to understand. I think when I do these, my brain tries to block people out because I cannot stand the people on these panels usually. So I don't remember his name, but you guys will let me know in the comments. But I know he's from Fresh and Fit, obviously because of his shirt. But he likes to bring up tons and tons of different talking points from different zones. He's really trying to do, he's on the Virtue Signal tour where he tries to touch on every single talking point. I will say that I think most women would find jacked men more attractive than fat men if you put a gun to their head and told them, you have to tell me right now what you actually think. They'd probably say yes. But there is a stigma against saying that these days too. It's so weird. And in girl world, it is kind of weird where there's a stigma against saying certain things. And because of the politics of fatness these days, I think a lot of girly pops would have a hard time saying what they actually like in regard to this issue. But anyways, let's see what else he has to say. I'm sure it's going to go downhill.
She's not gonna suck your dick with the same veracity when you're a fat fuck as when you're in shape. She's just not. See, people don't understand that women are aroused by one thing and they're attracted by another thing. Women are attracted to, you know, a guy that's confident, ambitious, makes money, etc. Of course, right? But they're aroused by guys that have asshole tendencies, dark triad traits, etc., and guys that are physically in shape. So if you want to,
Oh my gosh, what the hell? I don't know if that's real. I'm gonna need a, what is it? Citation needed for that one, because I don't really agree. Because I've known, again, I'm gonna just say fresh and fit. There's probably a relatively strong possibility that I have known more women than you have. And I've had very, very candid conversations. I've observed women. I've observed so many different things. It's not that they're attracted to the dark triad. It's that the dark triad is able to pretend to be what they are attracted to. Dumbass. Duh. Gosh. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is literally the dumbest thing. It's not that somebody is attracted to a narcissist. It's that a narcissist can pretend to be what you are attracted to. Dippy.
get the best of your woman, where she respects and admires you, while simultaneously being aroused by you so she doesn't cheat on you, you need to have it all.
You're saying...
I think, honestly, with most women, there are going to be your dark triad women, too. You know, since we're going here, we're talking about everything but fatness. What I will say is there are dark triad women. There are narcissistic women. There are women that take advantage of men and that have no real feelings or connections. All these different things, too, that exists within the sexes, you know, across the sexes. So when it comes to that, I mean, that's not going to be a normal person, regardless. Most of the time, though, what I would advise guys and what I would say is most of the time, guys don't understand that girls don't want to be single. They don't. So typically, if they're dumping you, it's for a reason. It's not like, oh, I just felt like it one day, because it's not a fun thing, especially, not to put my girly pops on blast, but especially when you are getting older, it is a nightmare to be single. Or like, it's scary because you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's going to happen after that. Like, it's a whole host of things. So I will just say, it's not about having dark triad traits and all this other stuff. It's just about being somebody who is respectable, for one. And secondly, it's about being, you know, honestly, I will say I'm not one of those like super feministy girly pops. Like, I'm going to be honest, like most women want a guy stronger than them, and not just physically, but emotionally as well. Because, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into being a woman. There's a lot of work, especially if you're talking about legit like family dynamics or like that kind of stuff, like being a mother and a wife at the same time. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And most women are going to be miserable if they feel like they have to be in charge of everything all the time. And where I will critique the women is when they can't let go of control sometimes. That can be toxic or a trauma response. That's not good. But it's like, I totally get needing a guy who's actually strong and who actually is there for you and who doesn't leave you stranded somewhere, or who is supportive and actually, you know, if your car breaks down, he picks you up. That's really like what it is. And a lot of these guys, they never do that. They don't. You abandon a girl, you leave her on the side of the road. It's like she's never going to respect you after that. It's something dies in a woman if that happens. Like, I say the same thing where if you humiliate your man in front of his friends and family, if you publicly humiliate him, something dies in him as well. Like, there are certain differences, you know? but it's like he's making it's both simpler than what he's saying and more complicated than what he's saying. I hate that. I just hate that so much. It is so wrong. It's stupidly wrong what he's saying. And I hate it. I just do. So anyways, my point is, a girl will not leave you if she feels safe. She's not going to leave. And I mean like actually safe, not like, oh, you're such a nice, sweet guy. I feel safe. More so like I feel safe, like you would stand up for me. You would protect me. You would be there if something went down. You take care of me. You love me. You are that person, you know? She's not going to leave. But it does require effort. Like, I'm sorry, it does. It requires effort on both sides. But anyways, I don't really get too into that. But of course we had to get into that because of course he's going to go there. So I just had to say my piece on that.
That's true for all women?
A staggering majority of women.
There might be 1% of the world that there's something wrong with them that might think that, yeah, you're 600 pounds, it's so hot, I love that. But
The hot girls that you actually want, they exercise their hypergamy to the highest degree, and they want guys that are fit and have their money together.
I mean, it depends on who you're trying to date. So I will say, like, I don't know who he's trying to date. If he's just trying to date, like, clout chasing women, like, they certainly exist, you know. I'm not saying, I don't know. I don't really judge people's dating choices. It's not really my business. But what I am saying is that there's a certain type of woman that a lot of those types of men go for. And they're usually very shallow, usually vapid, usually super young, you know, like 20 years old or something. And all they care about is like a designer bag. I mean, if you go for a girl like that, she might be hot, but she's not going to be hot forever. And sometimes those types of girls live really rough, so they age fast. So I'm just keeping it a buck. I would not prioritize that type of girl. I just wouldn't. Oh my gosh, look. Scary stories. Anyways, this is a scary story, okay? Anyways, okay.
Have their life together.
You're looking at me like you want to say something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. So every woman, pretty much, I will say in the whole world, unless that there's something a little off, which this I am going to give a slight shade. I know my girlies who want a wounded bird. It's not healthy. You don't want to be your man's mama. That's never a good thing. It's not natural. You're going to have a huge issue, and it's probably not going to work out. But most women, the vast majority, they want a man who has his shit together. That's big. That's true.
Because the question was, are Jack men more attractive? We all walked over. Are we more attracted to Jack men?
Well, I'm assuming they framed that because we're all guys here they meet
Okay, that was just too gay to function. I'm not even going to go there.
women.
Well, men can be attracted to
if
men.
I had
mean,
to
we're just
switch
saying.
teams, I'm going with the Jack guy.
Obviously, this is going to be like personal biases, but I think attraction is very fluid in the sense that I can 100% admit, like, there was probably 40 pounds of muscle ago is when most women would be like attracted to me. Of course, like fitness girls, they're totally okay with the size I am, but like probably most girls, I'm like too much for. So I guess like where do we draw that line?
I feel like you're too much, but I think it's more so your personality and your fakeness. I'm just going to say that. Like I said, the witch hat is out when I watch this. I don't like these people. I really don't like a lot of them. The only one that I've seen that's been kind of okay is Greg. But that would be my first thing is it's not even just how you look. It's like how you talk, what you say. You're so full of shit. Basically, everything you say is full of shit, in my opinion, from what I remember to what I'm now hearing. I just can't even with this. I think that what he's not understanding is that women they don't only look at physical attraction. That's not even always the most important thing to a woman. With men, it typically is. It's extremely important. And that does cross into gay lines. Like, even for myself, it's very important that I'm physically attracted to a guy. Like, it just is. And I'm not going to sit here and lie, like, men are visual, blah, 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 right? But with women, it's a little bit different. It doesn't mean that it's not important. It just means that it's like something that's important along with a lot of other stuff that's important. You know, like, for example, I, as a gay man, I don't care if the guy I like has money. a lot of women would care because there's some kind of like financial security provided, or again, like she's could get into a position where she's pregnant, for example, or, you know, she's in a vulnerable state that I would never experience in that same way. And a lot of these things are biological. So it always comes up, you know, even if you don't plan on having kids or anything, it's still going to be a part of your biological framework of could this guy provide if I needed him to in the case of an emergency. It's that kind of thing. So it's not just that, but it's also like personality and stuff, because emotions and feelings can be a lot of times equally important as physical attraction. Like how a guy makes you feel as a woman could be huge. Like if a guy bores you to death, it doesn't matter how gorgeous he is, you're probably going to leave him. You know, it's not necessarily easy to woo a woman. It isn't. There's a lot of factors there. You know, to woo a man, it's kind of like look good, and then maybe like other aspects, like be smart, or like it's really more so about developing looks and personality to attract a man. Honestly, that's typically what it is, which again, a lot of people act like the looks are the only thing that matters. But I would think for guys, it's literally probably only how you look and how you make him feel. That would probably be the two things that matter. And like money and all that, it doesn't matter at all. It's like not even a thought. And even as a gay man, that's true for me too. It's looks and personality, honestly. So it's interesting. You know, men are simpler in that way. I don't know why I'm trying to give dating advice. I'm not really, I shouldn't be probably, but just from what I've observed, I guess, if you're like really not doing well as a woman, just develop your personality. Like it's such a beautiful thing. And show it, you know, like it's mostly like introvert girlies and stuff. Just show yourself, like show how you are, who you are. And it's very attractive. So anyways, let's move on. I don't know why this is turning into this, but I just,
Line of like, I think, for example, like you would be much more attractive to most women than me. Would you agree with that?
I mean, that doesn't mean that like.
I don't know about that. I mean, again, I'm not a woman, but from my perspective, it's like choosing between two dumbasses. Like to me, intelligence is really, really, really important. As far as my personal attraction, like that's just something for me. It's, you know, it's very important. And so like, I would never be attracted to them because they're dumb. And it's just, it shuts it down. It's a wrap.
Like if you walked up to a girl and let's say you're not her, like you're a little bit more muscular than she would like. If you had the charm and charisma, she gonna still go with you, man. It don't matter. Like,
I have an interesting point.
Yeah.
And no shade on you, but I think if you had Zach, right, you're on the end?
Yep.
If you put Zach and Greg and you put them next to each other and you did a poll, I think that most women would probably pick him if you had to like, because he's got the height and all that. What would you guys say to that?
No.
No? No. Well, we can put it to the test.
But that's not really fair. I'm 48 years old. He's a lot younger than me. He's about a foot taller than me, but you can't compare. I'm an old man. I'm 48 years old.
obviously, height is a big component.
True.
So that
if you compared it in terms of like somebody who's actually comparable, which they're asking about fatness is only one aspect, or, you know, like body size, so to speak, is only one aspect in your entire physical category. So you can't have somebody that maybe is better looking across all other zones, but they happen to be fat, and compare them to somebody who isn't but is thin. That wouldn't work. You'd have to compare two people who are equally good looking, one of which is fat and one of which is thin, and then or jacked, and then decide who's more attractive, which that's the actual intellectually honest way to look at it, because it's isolating fatness. It's not saying fatness or jackedness is the only thing that matters. It's saying that it is one of many things that matters in terms of physical attraction. That's all.
you know, so it's not you're comparing apples to oranges. But if you take the same guy, same height, etc., but one guy is fat, one guy's in good shape, she's always going to go with the guy that's in good shape.
Because
That's a fact.
I've been so surprised to see.
I mean, maybe not always, but like I said, some people specifically are into overweight people, not those women. But everyone else, yes.
Instagram, there'll be like guys doing like an outfit try on, like not in shape in the slightest bit, and all the comments are women like, I wish like men knew this is how we wish they looked, and like, oh, this is like the
Liars for
dream.
sure.
Liars.
It's lying. Yeah, it's political posturing. You have to look at who they're actually dating. And again, some people are into that and stuff. I'm not really judging. I don't care. Honestly, I don't. I'm just talking about majority here, and we're talking about most people. And that's where it's like most women will say that, but would they actually be with him? Probably not, you know?
Media.
Liars for
To look
the
good,
one thing
for
about you
clout.
can never believe what women say, man. You
Correct.
you believe how they behave, not what they say.
That's a different episode.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh. You can never believe what women say. I don't think that's true. Never is too strong. Sometimes I feel like you just have to look at, like, you have to take it all in. You have to take in the emotions with the words. Like, you have to take it all. Which a lot of guys struggle with that. But if a girl is, like, saying something, like, if she's like, I'm fine. You know, but there's this such, like, a nonverbal communication that she's not, then clearly she's not, you know. I would say prioritize nonverbal communication. That's how, see, I can actually give real advice, okay? I don't just say some bullshit thing, basically. Anyways, let's continue.
Yeah.
I disagreed mostly just with the blanket statement because attraction is so subjective.
Of course you disagree, because you're in Delulu Clown World land. So of course you do, because somebody said a real statement, so you have to be against it.
I am a big and tall model by trade. That's what I do. I model clothing brands. I've modeled with major
It's very niche. I'm going to be so bitchy to him. I do not like him.
fashion houses. I've been on the covers of magazines. You mentioned before dad
And
bod
how many more covers would you have been on if you weren't fat? You really want to go there? Because we can get real vicious.
comments and whatnot on social media. I was flabbergasted when I started how many people were commenting and DMing me and talking about how attractive I was. That it just kind of, I don't know, showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider range of what they find attractive than.
No, it's more so that you have more conventionally attractive traits. And at least at this particular size, you don't happen to be so big that it all goes away. But if you gained another 150 pounds, I guarantee you those comments would dry up more than likely.
And specifically a body type.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be a very
Money, height, fame, like what can you bring to the table?
The number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've seen so many girls go for guys of lower status. I don't agree. I just can't agree. Because that's not what it is. I told you. It's like, usually, in my opinion, it's a sense of security with the person. Even if it's false, which is super toxic and horrible. And if you are in a situation where it is a false sense of security, then you need to get out, girly. Like, I will tell you, you need to get out. Because again, that's what narcissists do. They give you a false sense of security. Because that's what works on women. Because that's what women want. So all the traits that they have, that they list, it has to do with providing a sense of security. And being jacked is another trait that would give a sense of security. Unless if he was like super volatile or something, or she felt like she didn't know if his aggression could ever be turned against her, then she wouldn't feel safe. Then she wouldn't want him, you see? So it's a lot, but it's not that much at the same time. Like, I don't know, but I think a lot of times men, especially hetero men, and again, like I'm super, super femi, Lana bottom, gay, right? But most men, they think of attraction in the way that they think of it, which it's like a list of things on a graph, which again, I understand it because I'm still a man, so I totally get it. I can look at a guy and be like, this is, you know, like I can go through the whole list and be like, and like you combine it. It's like an algorithm, and then you slam at all of the traits, put it all, compare it to your type in your mind, and then it's like, shh, this is like 80% this, 60% that. Like you can just know immediately as a guy, and this happens within like literally less than a second, basically, in a man's brain. That's how guys think about it. I think girls, it's just kind of different, because a lot of the things that they're looking for, they can't see that right away, because it's about more than looks and personality for a girl. It's more than that. So she might like a guy's looks, she might like a guy's personality, but there's no sense of security there. He's not caring enough. He is too weak. He is distant or emotionally unavailable, for example. Like you can't know that right away. You have to get to know a person. So for women, it's slower. They have to get to know somebody. Now, if they get to know you and they're still not into it, it's dead as a doornail. It's never going to change. And yeah, so basically, like for me, as a super femi gay hybrid, I have both. Where for me, it's not so much about money or status or these kinds of things, but it's about intelligence. I really, really care about intelligence in a guy. And so I can be super into somebody, but if he is so fucking dumb, I will lose all attraction. So I have like that weird hybrid where I'm kind of in between a man and a woman in terms of attraction, where I understand that aspect of like, I can be attracted to somebody, but then figure something else out about them and it goes away. And that's just like a very natural default mode for women. Super natural. And I don't think that these men understand that at all.
What they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
Just to be clear, are we speaking about women being attracted to men?
It's not just about women. It's just about attraction. What is the
general?
most attractive, in your opinion,
Okay.
physique for a man?
Okay, I'm speaking from like what women find attractive. So when I speak, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
anybody?
sexually fluid. So my law of attraction does not adhere to anyone's standards, pretty much. I'm attracted to people in general. So you could be jacked, you could be more plus size, you could be skinny, you could be whatever it is that you are.
Yeah, there's certain guys where they don't have a body, like it's not a part of their attraction, or it's not a part of their equation or their algorithm in their mind, if that makes any sense. Because I have, as somebody who is very overweight and who has obviously, you know, talked to gay men, obviously, a lot of times some of the guys that were interested, they just didn't have a preference, or they didn't care about that aspect. They cared about other aspects. So it's like that can exist for sure. But most likely, again, we're talking about majorities, and this is why I hate Jubilee, because this prompt is horrible. It's a horrible, horrible prompt.
I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
What are the traits you find most attractive?
I think the way that you carry yourself is a really big thing for me. I can't date someone who lacks confidence, because I feel like that seeps into other aspects of your life.
Do you mind if I jump in on the confidence thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So growing up, wasn't too confident in myself, and I gained that confidence when I started losing weight. And I noticed it was me putting myself in positions to get more opportunities with women. Right now, I'm single right now, but I'm doing okay. But the confidence came from me losing weight. So I do agree that it's a subjective kind of standpoint, but socially, I understand that physically fit men, that's just like what everyone's liking. It's like
I don't think it's a subjective.
It helps. It helps. It's a helpful thing. You know, fat can be a barrier. I've talked about this a lot. That's why, you know, when you have that kind of, it is an ED mindset. I guess I can say it because I'm not monetizing. It's an eating disorder mindset to want fatness for an emotional reason, like protection. That's a disordered mindset. But it exists for a reason. It's because fatness is a barrier. It keeps people away. That's a huge thing. And trust me, I get it. you know, but I had to just realize it's a scam. Like I said, losing my ED was like losing my religion. It's not real. Those things that you think are not real, they're fake.
Effective as guys are trying to say, attraction isn't a choice, and there
And
are.
I'll just be real with you. I've had situations where I've been mistreated or hurt or betrayed or all these things, even being fat. So it's not a real protection. It's not real. That's why it's disordered, because it's not actually real. But the point is, there is still that barrier, especially in a romantic sense. It exists because it can keep people away, just not everybody away, you know? And of the people who still come around, they can still hurt you. You can still get hurt. So it's not real protection. It's fake.
Are hardwired traits that women look for in men. And what I've come to realize is that what women put out there as what they find attractive are politically correct things. Oh, he has a dad bod. He's nice. He's a good guy. The reality is that women don't respond well and favorably to these men.
I think you need to look at who is married. You know, if you really were like looking at it objectively, look at men who are married and you could see trends. I mean, I think it's kind of a waste of time to try to like get a whole algorithm of women and all that, because like I said, they don't think about attraction in the same way as men. But if you really want to, that would be a way to do it. Look at who's married. There's plenty of married men who are not jacked. Okay? I mean, come on.
There's a reason why nice guys finish last is a thing. It's because when you're too nice and you kind of bend to her will, etc., girls aren't aroused by that. Girls don't want to say what they're really aroused by. Guys that are able to stand up to them, guys that are able to tell them, well, that was a stupid comment, or...
No, it's girls want somebody who, again, provides a sense of security, whether it's emotional, financial, physical, right? Like if somebody's going to come beat her up, she wants to know that somebody's going to be there. That's what it is. But regardless, most of the time, at least, I mean, maybe not every single woman in the world, it comes down to a form of security. And yes, emotional security counts. So even in some cases, there could be more alpha type women who want a more nurturing guy who provides emotional security, but he's still providing security. That's what it is.
Hold them accountable for their stupidity when they do dumb things. This is what women find attractive because these are leadership traits.
Have any of those things happened to you, though?
Well, I mean, I've talked to almost 3,000 women, and what I've come to realize from talking to all of them is that most of the time, you know, when they're in a comment section of TikTok, like, you're so handsome, blah, 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 will they actually go on a date and have sex with that guy? Probably not. But they say that because it's politically correct, and women tend to not want to be adversarial. They're going to say what sounds good, but what they're actually aroused by are two different things.
But they're married to those guys.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was
Most
getting to.
often they're married to-
I'm married.
And
too.
marriage is a failed institution in the West, and this is why most men...
Okay, I don't know what he's even saying. I mean, this is such a horrible argument. I'll just let him spin himself out.
And get divorced by women. This is why they get destroyed in the divorce courts. This is why women overwhelmingly initiate the divorce rates in America. 80% are initiated by women, because we sit here and we lie and we believe what women say they're actually...
There's so much to that, but I'm not going to get into it. So I have thoughts on it, but I'm not going to get into it at all. But I will just say this. Your physical health does matter a lot. And a lot of people, their physical health affects their mental health as they get older, and it just gets fugly after a while. That's what I will say. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Take care of your body. Regardless, it will help your relationship to take care of your body. It will. If you don't, it's going to get worse. Because you got to take care of your body to take care of your mind. And that goes for both, you know, for everybody, for men and women, etc. Take care of yourself. That will set you up in a good zone. A lot of people don't. And I just see a lot of situations where people are not, like, they're really just cranky or crabby or tired or lazy. And that just builds up over a long time, you know? So I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, like I said, but I think it's a complicated situation where most of the time a woman is initiating the divorce, but how many of those times is a guy pushing her to do it as well through his behavior because he doesn't want to be the one to do it? So it's a tricky situation. It really is a tricky situation. But like I said, in general, I would just say Americans are super unhealthy, and maybe they get into the marriage and they're both healthier, and then over time they just eat like crap, blow up like a balloon, and they have all these problems later on. And that's all I can say. I see that a lot. And it's especially if it's about like really, really petty things of why the divorce is happening. I just think it comes down to like people don't take care of themselves and they don't take care of their marriage. And that's why. So anyways, but he's just going to go on this whole tirade about it.
Actually attracted to. No,
Well,
they're not
let's
attracted
let's
to a
go
lot of
back
things
to
they talk about.
attraction for a second though, because I'm married.
Sure.
I have a child.
Cool.
I have a beautiful wife. I was this size the entire process through it.
Yeah, it's because you had enough of other stuff going on, and it seems like your wife likes dumb men, or she likes a man that she can control. So there's going to be some women that like it, you know, because again, he probably can provide her a very, very rich sense of emotional security because he will just absorb whatever propaganda she wants him to believe, and he'll just go with it. So, you know, to each their own. I don't respect it myself. I could never be with somebody who's super dumb. I would feel horrible and unsafe and extremely like the guy was so incompetent, and it would just be horrible. I'm too feminine. Like I can't feel like, if I feel like a guy is a child, I lose attraction. Like I don't, if he can't take care of himself or something, I feel like I have to take care of him, it like brings out that like nurturing spirit, and I just lose attraction for him completely. So again, I have a little bit of a worst of both worlds with, you know, male and female attraction, being kind of in the middle. I kind of have both because I don't, gosh, like I could never be with someone like him. Like I would feel like he was another kid or something. Like if I had kids and I was dealing with him, I would just feel like he was another kid. It would drive me nuts. But, you know, bless her heart. That's all I can say. You know, some women are completely fine with it. So anyways, let's continue.
Would you say that you're an average guy?
I would say that
You're
I'm
how
bigger
tall?
than average.
Yeah, you're not an average guy.
And a model
You're not an average
for
guy.
being slightly
I
overweight.
wasn't a model when I started
But
dating
you are
my
a
wife.
very good-looking,
I was
tall,
a
big
bartender
guy
fucking
who's
doing
on
whatever.
magazine covers. So
But I
out
know,
of the
I think-
million guys overweight, you're at
But
the
you're not
top
an average guy.
But
1%.
I think what
I'm
you're
saying-
missing is he just said that he wasn't any of those things.
He's not 5'6",
before
man, like
he
me.
met his
Try
wife.
being 5'6" and doing
No,
it.
I totally agree with you. Well, that's what I was gonna actually agree with Myron for a second. Believe it or not, we're talking about. You mentioned status, and then a lot of people other mentioned confidence. So you even put it in your own pecking order ahead of being jacked or being physically
status, for sure.
attractive. Wouldn't you say that matters more? Confidence, how you carry yourself, how you
Yeah,
do
well,
it.
yeah, I mean,
the prompt was simply, is it either you're jacked
Yeah.
or
And
are you
I'm
fat?
not
What's
going to
more
argue
attractive?
the fact that our society definitely finds jack guys more attractive. But I disagreed with the statement because it was a blanket statement that I have found untrue.
Because you're trying to act like you're smart. So that's why.
In my own life.
Do all of you feel like you'd be more or less attractive, let's say 50 pounds lighter than you are, and simply like just body fat?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I struggled with for a while is in me
For me, I would say yes.
losing weight, am I still going to be able to book the jobs that I book? Because I've built an entire brand off of my body. I mean,
It's
granted,
horrible to do that. I would never suggest that, but it happens a lot. So it happens to a lot of these fat activists and a lot of the plus size influencers and stuff. They get trapped, or even to a certain extent, some of the mukbangers too. You don't want to. I would never, ever, ever want my finances to be tied to being fat. That is just a nightmare.
like cool as shit. Like, you know, I did something that's all my own. Like, I worked on that. But then I was also just like, if I lose this, are you still gonna want me to like do this campaign for you? Are you still gonna want me in your magazine? Are you still gonna wanna dress me? And then I had to like take a step back and say like, well, what is it for me? Do I want to be skinny? No. Do I want to look like Greg? No. Do I want to look like Myron? No. But I know I want to look like me. I think talking about
What does that even mean?
the law of attraction, you focus so heavy about what women would find attractive and the perspective of the woman. And I feel like, are you even attracted to yourself? When you look in that mirror, when you put your clothes on, are you like, damn, like I did that? Because when I got up this morning and I
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up.
threw on my outfit, I was just like, yeah, I ate that.
Well, if you're going to talk about being attractive, et cetera, typically people are speaking from a romantic sense, from a heterosexual standpoint of men and women. So that's why I answered the question, because it was very broad. That's what I mean. But of course, you need to be able to look at the mirror and respect the man that you see looking back at you. When you look back and you see the guy and you're in shape, et cetera, and you feel good about yourself, look good, feel good. A byproduct of that is that women just tend to find you more attractive. It all works together in tandem.
Are you happy with the way you look?
Of course, of course. But I had to work to build this physique, and it took many years. I was an athlete in college, I was a Division I athlete. It took many years to be able to do this. So
What'd you play?
I rode in college, crew.
Oh, sweet.
Rowing, yeah.
I like rowing.
So I think when fat people look at the mirror and they say, oh, I like that, that's coat, man. No, you don't. They say that to try to
Probably true.
bring themselves up. But the reality is, most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, I really let myself go.
Not every
But you're
fat
like, you know what?
person-
It's not that much of a priority, so fuck it.
Abe didn't get to answer the question going around.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I
Here we go.
find myself attractive. I would say like I go for guys like you as well, and I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the
I think he's lying. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. That was mean. Ooh. Ooh, sorry. Got a little too real there. Ooh. Okay.
status and their confidence. So
Okay, you have no
like that.
confidence.
So
Hold
it
on.
is
I need
most-
to hear this person again.
to
I'm sorry.
The reality is, most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror.
Oops, I totally messed this up. I'm sorry. Okay.
Didn't get to answer the question going around.
yeah, I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive.
Weird. I don't know. I wouldn't like to hear that from a guy. I'd be like, ugh. Like, if anything, it would be like a narc red flag. I'd be like, oh, that's weird. Because it's like, if a guy, and this is, I'm giving some gay tea, okay? If I talk to a gay man and he says, I find myself attractive, then I feel like he would want me to be, like, if he was trying to go for me, then I'd feel like he'd want me to be exactly like him. That is weird. Ugh.
I would say like I go for guys like you as well, and I feel
I don't know who he's pointing to, but I guess he's saying he goes for fat guys. That's what I'm guessing.
like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the status and their confidence. So
I guess I'm just not a super statusy girly pop. Like, I have certain things that I care about for sure. Like, there's personality traits I like, intelligence, right? These kind of things. But and then obviously physical attraction. But it's like, I don't know. I guess I just don't care. I don't care if like somebody is like the highest of the high in society or whatever. I just don't give a shit about that.
like we said, so.
All right, let's go to the next prompt.
Okay, thank God it's over. Okay, you guys, so let me know what you think. I don't know if I said any hot takes or whatever. The girly pops can definitely, I don't know why I'm showing this. Look at this, Skinnylicious. I have that saved on this computer. Skinnylicious. Anyways, diets don't work. Oh, you can't see that one. Anyways, let me know if the girly pops, if you want to correct anything, absolutely. go for it. But anybody else, if you want to, whatever, I don't care. Tell me what you think, period. It's fine if you disagree. But otherwise, we made it through another Delulu moment. And yeah, I'm not even going to look at the next one. But I will see you guys again soon. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. Peace. Bye.